All right, let's dive into VDA standards. We want to look at why it's such a big deal in the automotive industry. And we've got some great material from a leading professional organization all about automotive quality. So we get the inside scoop here.
You know, it's really interesting that VDA, that stands for Verband de Automobile Industry, by the way, it goes way beyond just audits. It's like a whole philosophy for managing quality. It kind of permeates the whole automotive world.
Okay, so we're not just checking boxes on a form here. We're talking about like a deep commitment to quality.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Like, think of it this way. VDA is a framework for achieving, that automotive quality excellence, and that framework impacts everyone, from those big giant car manufacturers all the way down to the smaller parts suppliers. It's like a whole ecosystem.
So if you're in the automotive industry at any level, you really got to understand VDA. It's like the secret handshake for success, maybe.
Yeah, you could say that. And the interesting thing is that these professional organizations, they offer a whole range of services that are designed to help companies, work their way through VDA. We're talking training, consulting, even practical tools and resources.
So there's more than just those audits I keep hearing about, like VDA 6.3, 6.5, 6.7.
Yeah, so those audits are definitely important. They focus on process, product, and then series production, respectively. But those are really just one piece of the puzzle. VDA training goes much deeper. There are workshops on, practical methodologies, things like APQP, PPP, 8D.
I've heard those acronyms before. Mm-hmm. I know some folks in automotive, they love their acronyms, but what are those all about? What do they mean?
So, take APQP, that's Advanced Product Quality Planning. It's basically a framework, a structured framework that helps companies make sure that the quality's there from the very beginning of a project, like a roadmap, to guide you through every single step of development, and make sure quality is built in from day one.
So it's not just about reacting to problems after they pop up. It's about preventing those problems in the first place.
Exactly. And then there's PPP. That's Production Part Approval Process. This is about proving, that a production part consistently meets the customer's requirements. Can't just say, trust us, it's good. You gotta provide evidence.
So you're talking hard data, test results, that sort of thing.
Yeah, precisely. Think of it like a science experiment. You got to collect your data, analyze it, and then present your findings in a clear and compelling way. That's what PPP is all about.
I bet there are some people who just see it as paperwork for paperwork's sake.
Yeah, but really, it's all about transparency and building trust between suppliers and manufacturers, right?
That makes sense. So who needs to care about VDA? Is it just the big car companies?
Well, so the source material actually gives a pretty wide public of reference, and obviously automotive companies, manufacturers and suppliers are right at the heart of it. But it also includes quality professionals, production teams, logistics folks, anyone involved in audits.
Wow, that's a lot of people. Yeah. It really shows just how ingrained VDA is in the automotive world.
Yeah, and that makes sense, I think, when you think about just how complex, modern vehicles are. We're talking, these really intricate supply chains, very specialized parts, and demanding quality standards. VDA provides the framework to manage all of that.
Okay, so let's say someone's listening and they're totally new to VDA. Where do they start?
Well, I'd say one of the best ways to get up to speed is through those structured VDA training programs that are offered by these professional organizations. They're actually they're designed with a modular approach, which is great for busy professionals.
So you can pick and choose the modules that are most relevant to you.
Exactly. They're like building blocks. You start with a basic understanding of VDA in Module 1, and then you build on that with modules that focus on specific audits or methodologies or tools.
Okay, so what does each module cover? What's in them?
So Module 1, like I said, it kind of sets the stage, explores the why behind VDA. It's about, understanding the philosophy, the principles, and the overall importance.
Okay, so you get the big picture before you dive into the specifics.
Exactly. And then modules 2 through 4, they get into the different types of audits. So process audits, product audits, and then audits for series production. Each module looks at the specific requirements and procedures and all the documentation involved in each type of audit.
Sounds pretty intense, but I guess that level of rigor is kind of necessary when you're dealing with something as complex as making cars.
Absolutely. And then there's Module 5. It's all about exploring those key quality tools and methodologies that we touched upon earlier, like APQP, PTP, 8D, all those.
So this is where you learn how to actually put those concepts into practice.
Yeah. It's about understanding how to use these tools to prevent problems and analyze data, and just drive continuous improvement.
Gotcha. And then Module 6 looks like it kind of brings everything together, right?
Yeah. Right, precisely. Module 6 is all about applying that knowledge that you gained in the previous modules through case studies and hands-on practice. Think of it like a test drive where you get to see how VDA works in real-world scenarios.
It's not just theory. It's about actually equipping people with the skills and the confidence to implement VDA.
You got it. That's what makes the VDA training so effective. It's not just, memorizing concepts. It's understanding how to actually apply them in a practical way to get, real results.
That's awesome. It seems like we've only just scratched the surface of VDA. Let's take a break and then come back and explore some of these tools and methodologies in more detail. I'm especially curious about how APQP helps ensure quality from the beginning, and how AD can be used to solve those tricky problems that always seem to pop up.
Yeah, sounds good. I'm ready to dive deeper when we get back.
So we've talked about how VDA is the gold standard for quality in the automotive world, but I'd love to dig into some of those specific tools and methodologies like APQP and AD. Those sound really interesting. Can we talk about those a little more?
Yeah, definitely. Let's start with APQP. Advanced Product Quality Planning. It's about building quality into a product from the very start, almost like a blueprint for success, where you're identifying potential risks, right? And you're planning those mitigation strategies before they even become problems.
So we're not just waiting around to fix defects. We're trying to stop them from happening in the first place. How does that actually work?
So APQP, it involves a series of steps, and they guide you through that whole product development process. It starts with really understanding the customer needs and expectations. Then you move on to defining those quality targets, designing those robust processes, and setting up those control plans to monitor the progress.
So it's structured, it's systematic, not just hoping for the best.
Exactly. And a big part of APQP is teamwork. You need that cross-functional collaboration between, engineers, designers, quality professionals, suppliers, and even the customers. Everyone's got to play a role to make sure quality is built in from the ground up.
That makes a lot of sense. More eyes on the process, more likely you are to catch those potential problems, right? So APQP sounds like a really great way to prevent those problems. But what about when things, inevitably do go wrong, even with the best planning? That's where AD comes in. Yeah,
exactly. 8D, the 8 disciplines of problem solving. It's a method for tackling those problems that slip through. It's designed to help you get to the root cause of an issue and then implement, the right solutions.
So it's about not just a quick fix, but really understanding why it happened, so you can stop it from happening again.
Yeah, you got it. 8D is about being systematic and thorough when you're solving a problem. It involves, first you form a team, then you got to define the problem, then you implement temporary containment actions. Then you identify the root causes, develop permanent corrective actions, you check if they work, prevent it from happening again, and then you celebrate the team's success.
Wow, that's quite a process. Sounds pretty involved, but I guess that's what it takes to really get to the bottom of a tough problem.
Exactly. And what's great about AD? It encourages that continuous improvement. By writing down each step, you're building a knowledge base so you can prevent similar problems in the future.
There's a learning opportunity for everyone. But I bet putting these tools like APQP and 8D into practice, it can be a real challenge, right? It's not just like flipping a switch.
Right. Yeah. You need commitment from the whole organization, from, top management all the way to the shop floor. You got to change mindsets, encourage collaboration, invest in training and resources.
So it's more than just, checking boxes on a form. It's got to be a fundamental shift in how the company thinks about quality.
Absolutely, and that's where those professional organizations that we talked about earlier. That's where they can really help. They don't just offer training. They also do consulting to help companies put VDA into practice effectively. They can provide guidance, support, even do audits to make sure companies are on the right path.
Like VDA Sherpas, leading companies through the tough world of quality management.
I like that. They're there to help navigate those complexities, overcome any obstacles, and reach the peak of quality excellence.
So we talked about APQP and 8D. Are there any other tools in the VDA toolkit? You mentioned PPAP and FMEA before.
Yes, those are definitely worth talking about. PPP, that's all about proving that that a production part consistently meets those customer requirements. You got to submit a whole package of documentation, samples, test results, basically demonstrating that you comply.
It's like a quality report card.
Yeah,
shows the manufacturer that the supplier did their job right and the part is ready to go.
Exactly. It creates a very clear process for communication and approval between suppliers and manufacturers.
It takes out the guesswork, make sure everyone's on the same page.
Yep. And then there's FMEA, or failure mode and effects analysis. This one's all about identifying those potential failure modes in a product or process, and then figuring out how to lower the risk.
It's like a pre-mortem for your product. You're thinking, okay, what could go wrong? How bad would it be, and how could we stop it?
Yeah, that's it. FMEA is a great way to get ahead of those problems. It involves a team of experts. They brainstorm those potential failures. They figure out how serious they could be, and then they come up with strategies to prevent or lessen the impact.
So it's all about eliminating weaknesses, making your product or process as bulletproof as possible.
That's right. And the best part is you can use FMEA throughout the entire life cycle of a product, from design to development to production and even service.
So it's not just a one-time thing. It's an ongoing process, always improving.
Exactly. And just like with those other VDA tools, FMEA really pushes for collaboration and problem solving. It brings together all those different perspectives to identify and then address those potential issues before they become big problems.
I'm seeing a common theme here. All these VDA tools, ADQP, AD, PPP, and FMEA, they're all about being proactive and working together and using data. It's not about waiting for something to go wrong. It's about getting ahead of it, preventing it, and making things better all the time.
That's it. You got it. That's the essence of VDA. It's that big picture approach to quality management, and it really affects every part of the automotive industry.
And it's not just for cars, right? We talked about this a little before, but these VDA principles can be used in other industries too.
Absolutely. The core concepts of VDA are universal. So whether you're developing software, making medical devices, even running a restaurant, those principles of planning, problem solving, and continuous improvement are really valuable.
That's amazing. So VDA is like a secret weapon for anyone who wants to do the best in their field.
Exactly, and that's one of the things I find so interesting about VDA. It's not just standards. It's a mindset, a commitment to excellence. You can use it across all sorts of industries and disciplines.
So if someone's listening and they're like, "Wow, this VDA stuff sounds great," but where do I even begin? What would you tell them?
I would say, first thing, check out those resources from those professional VDA organizations we've been talking about. They've got tons of information, training courses, webinars, publications, even personalized consulting services. And
don't forget those checklists, templates, and manuals. Really, really helpful for putting those VDA principles into practice.
Yeah, definitely. And don't be shy. Reach out to those organizations for support. They're there to guide you, to help you reach your quality goals.
It's really great to see how dedicated these organizations are to promoting quality excellence in the automotive industry and beyond.
And that dedication shows in the comprehensive and rigorous nature of the VDA standards. They really have thought of everything when it comes to achieving and maintaining quality.
They've created a roadmap to quality success, really.
And that roadmap, it's always changing, to keep up with the industry, which brings us to an interesting question.
Oh, I love a good thought-provoking question.
So we talked about how VDA is changing to deal with electric vehicles and autonomous driving, but what other trends do you think will shape the future of automotive quality?
Will VDA have to adapt to things like connected cars, artificial intelligence, all that increasingly complex software? What about personalized mobility solutions and that shift towards sustainable manufacturing practices?
There's so much to think about as the automotive industry goes through this massive transformation. But one thing's for sure, the pursuit of quality, that's going to stay a driving force behind innovation and progress.
That's a lot to think about. But before we go too far into the future, let's come back to the present and recap some of the key takeaways from this deep dive. So we've learned a lot about VDA. It's way more than just audits. It's really a whole philosophy of quality, right? A whole system for the automotive industry to achieve excellence.
Yeah, and it affects everyone, every part of that automotive ecosystem, the manufacturers, the suppliers, everyone.
It's amazing how VDA gives this framework for managing all that complexity, making sure the quality is there at every step.
And we talked about those specific tools and methodologies like APQP for planning ahead, 8D for problem solving, PEP for showing those parts are compliant, and FMEA for getting ahead of risks.
What's really interesting to me is how much collaboration these tools need. It's not just one person's job. It's everyone working together to be responsible for the quality.
Exactly. It's a whole culture of shared responsibility, always improving, always looking for ways to do things better, more efficiently, and always focused on quality.
Learning about VDA has really shown me just how complex the world of automotive quality management is. I never really thought about it before, but now I realize how important it is to everything in our cars.
And the best part is these principles, they're not limited to cars. They can apply to other fields too: software, healthcare, even everyday life.
That's right. It's about being proactive, using data, and always striving for excellence. So to wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with one final thought.
We talked about how VDA has to change and adapt to electric vehicles and self-driving cars. But what other new things do you think will shape the future of automotive quality?
Yeah, well, VDA need to adapt to things like connected cars and AI and all that complex software. What about personalized mobility and sustainable manufacturing?
There's so much to consider, right, as the automotive industry goes through this, this huge change. But one thing's for sure: quality. That's always going to be important for innovation and progress.
That's something to think about. Keep being curious. Keep asking those questions. Keep exploring this fascinating world of quality management. Who knows what you might discover?
Until next time.